It's
to
pathetic.
get through an episode of
Bill,
Friends.
it's pathetic. It's pathetic. We've become a world, and I've talked about this a lot, a world where it is now a premium to be a victim. It is celebrated to be weak. You see that great sporting athletes are now making more money and becoming more acclaimed if they quit than if they win.
Piers Morgan went on Bill Maher's podcast and absolutely shut him down whenever he was talking about some obviously woke topics that Bill Maher always likes to talk about. They got into some culture war debates. They got into some culture war topics, and Piers Morgan did what Piers Morgan always does, and he absolutely took over the show and shut down Bill Maher, put him in his place, and even forced Bill Maher to agree with Piers Morgan. Let's get into this clip here where Piers Morgan goes off on Bill Maher on his own podcast, the Club Random Podcast.
That movie, I got to say, entertaining as fuck. And the people who need a disclaimer, this is the problem. You fucking babies. It's 1939.
Don't get me on
Can't
that.
you just see by the film stock that things were very different? Humans are like history in general. We evolve. Just celebrate. We're not racist
Also,
anymore.
you have
And
to
just
have
be a grown-up.
If you have to have a warning, you have to have a warning
it's
about
just-
a comedy film where...
Well, it's not a comedy.
No, I'm not talking about Gone with the Wind. I'm talking about just generally. You know, have warnings on comedy films where a joke is said, which is clearly a joke, not intended to be remotely offensive to anybody.
Right.
And even that now needs a warning at the front in case anybody's offended. What do they think is going to happen when you watch it? What happens to people?
I mean, the fact
they sit there shaking.
The fact that this generation needs a trigger warning
Oh, it's pathetic.
and a Klonopin
It's
to
pathetic.
get through an episode of
Bill,
Friends.
it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
We've
become a world, and I've talked about this a lot, a world where it is now a premium to be a victim. It is celebrated to be weak. You see that great sporting athletes are now making more money and becoming more acclaimed if they quit than if they win. We're becoming essentially...
if you're talking about the one who got the twisties, that's not right.
Well, I'm actually...
Is that who you're talking about?
Well,
I can't remember her name, but...
I'm actually not talking about... I was actually talking about the...
She did not quit.
Well,
they drove this... Olympics, that sickness of taking someone as a child and training them like, I mean, you just with no humanity, really. It's just you are this vessel for America winning a medal. And they drove that poor girl to
Simone Biles you're talking about.
Simone Biles,
Yeah.
okay. So I have no doubt that she maxed out to what she was possibly as a human capable of taking. She didn't give up.
I wasn't actually talking about her on this.
Oh.
I was actually talking
Who's
about...
quitter? Who are you talking about as a quitter?
I was actually talking about Naomi Osaka, the tennis player.
Okay, I know less about that. Naomi Osaka, I know that name.
It's an interesting thing for me where she just quit. She quit in the middle of a tournament. And
why?
She quit. She came up with a lot of reasons why. It was all, her mental health and this, that, and the other. She then managed to make a miraculous recovery to do the Olympic flame at the Olympics about 2 months later. And I watched all this go down.
Just carrying the flame?
Which, by the way, this whole thing, and I know people are going to get pissed off at me at this, I understand, if you have a family member that passes away, like, I understand taking time off and everything. But if you're just saying, like, generally, I'm just depressed, people are saying mean things about me, I have no sympathy for you. And I think that's a really weak way to go out. The person who I've looked up to most in my life, and I know people might get mad at this too, going through, business after business, getting punched in the face over and over again. I had a channel ripped away from me for no reason, ended up getting that channel back eventually. But there's so many things that I went through, and the person I looked up to the most was Kobe Bryant. And I just can't imagine someone like Kobe or MJ or somebody like that taking time off of a season for mental health reasons. Because I'm depressed. Are you serious? You're a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport. Go play the damn sport. What are you talking about? You can't afford to be depressed. Come on now. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Go do some flips. Shut up and flip. like I said, once again, if it's a family member passing away, something like that, that's understandable. Any other reason, I can't think of many more, then it's soft. It's just straight up soft. And if Kobe or MJ would have done anything like that, I would not look up to either one of them. So I know that's going to piss people off in the comments. Let's argue, because I'm ready. That is soft.
Yeah, but
well, that doesn't take guts.
No, but my point is,
if she quit because she couldn't play a match, that's more than just carrying a flame.
But I don't really agree with you about it. And I'm not sure I completely agree about Simone Biles, because she managed to recover 5 days later and take part in a individual competition, having let her teammates compete without her and lose to the Russians. So I don't entirely agree. But my general point about it is this. I think that in both cases, and many others at the moment, there is a weird cultural phenomenon going on where it's almost frowned upon to want to be a winner. Where if you express yourself,
then you're an oppressor.
Yes, in some way, if you want to dominate your sport and be a champion and a winner and do what it takes to win. Well, let me finish.
We still love winners. Come on, we just had the Super Bowl.
We do.
We like the winners. They go to Disneyland. The other losers get to weep in the locker.
That's true.
Okay.
But but if you now quit, if you
enjoy content like this, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I'll give up, and you just embrace this new phenomenon of, well, I've got mental health issues, whatever the real reason may be, and I'm not doubting sometimes the veracity of that, but you get celebrated more than if you win. And I have a problem with that. Well, I think it all plays to this. And then everybody wants to be a victim after.
Right. No, it is
everyone then says, I have a little sniffle. And they go on social media. I want you to feel sorry for me, and I want to be celebrated for my little sniffle, which means I can't now do my job. And if, by the way, if you make me do my job, you're an oppressor who is forcing me to do something against my will. And so this thing starts to spew out.
Right.
And eventually weakness becomes celebrated more than strength.
Right. Which is not to say that there aren't real oppressors in this world.
Not at all. Or that there are real people suffering from serious mental problems.
Right. But you are correct. It is a victim culture. It is exalted.
And there's something pathetic about it.
It's very pathetic. Well, it's the end of the empire.
I'm told.
And also realize that it is very pathetic. I agree. And also realize that it's becoming cool to do now. Like, as soon as I think it was Simone Biles that did it first. As soon as Simone Biles did it, a ton of other people started dropping out of these sports, especially like tennis and gymnastics, those kind of sports, for mental health reasons, air quotes, because it's cool now to do. It's just BS, dude. It's so soft. I just can't stand it. I don't like the modern era that we're in at all. Like with NFL quarterbacks, like I don't even watch football anymore because of how soft it's gotten. Like, man, I just miss the days of like Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and, you know, Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Like they don't exist anymore. It's just not fun, dude. The sports are just not fun anymore. Everybody's soft. Everybody is like all feminine and they love each other, swapping jerseys after the game. Like, it's just so lame. Y'all are so soft now. Grow up.
I can't, for example, you talked about a stiff upper lip earlier with the British.
Yes.
I've always prided myself on having a stiff upper lip. I think it's a thing to actually to want to aspire to have.
And what about your penis? What about how much pride do you have?
We'll come to my stiff lower lip a bit later. But
we come to our part of the podcast.
Piers,
some people find it awkward, but I feel is generic to what we're talking about.
I'm extremely relaxed if you want to talk about my lower genitalia, but I'd rather get back, if you don't mind, in the short term.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
No, I just think that we are entering a perilous period of society where weakness is celebrated, and the stiff upper lip, which used to be something the Brits were admired for around the world.
Synonymous with.
Right. And we were like, that's a good thing. You know, in times of trouble, the British ability to rise above this, not get over emotional, not get too down about it, dust yourself down and kick on. That's gone now. Now the stiff upper lip is now to be condemned. I am to be condemned for saluting a stiff upper lip. How dare I be resilient?
But see, this is not to be Arnold Toynbee on you, but this is what happens to successful civilizations. You become so successful, you become weak. You become. It's happened to Rome. It happens to everybody. You become effete. You become
fat and complacent.
Soft. You know what you are? Yeah. You're Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now when he's Captain Willard in the hotel room, and he's like, I've been in this hotel room. Charlie's in the jungle. He's getting stronger every day, and I'm fucking karate chopping this mirror and cutting my hand.
Yeah, so obviously Piers Morgan won over Bill Maher here on this topic. Originally, Bill Maher was trying to push back and say, oh, no, I don't think they're soft. And now Piers Morgan just completely got him to 180 on that. And it really, like, the reason why it pisses me off so much is because it trickles down to the younger generations. It's not just about Simone Biles or Naomi Osaka, or I think one of the male tennis players dropped out because of mental health reasons too. But you see, like, on TikTok and stuff, the way that these younger athletes compete now. Dude, when I was growing up, I'm not that old, I'm 26, but when I was growing up, we would compete so hard in baseball practice. Like, I played travel baseball, that we legit threw punches at our own teammates at practice because we were competing so hard. Like, I vividly remember I was playing shortstop and somebody was trying to steal second. I went to cover second. I tagged this kid out and he punched me in the face and we got into a fight. That's at practice. We're on the same team. Imagine how we treated the other teams. And, like, that's just the competitive nature, you know? That's supposed to be there. And it's just not there anymore. It's not there in professional sports. And when kids see that, you know, it trickles down to the little kids' sports. And that's just the new way of playing sports. And it's so lame. It's just so soft. Like, where's the competitive nature? It's going away. And, you know, I know it sounds crazy, but that trickles down to the rest of society. It makes the rest of society just so soft. Let me know in the comments, though, what you guys think about Piers Morgan going on Bill Maher's podcast and really putting him in his place and making him 180 on this point, where Piers Morgan's completely correct and Bill Maher was definitely wrong originally. And they came together and agreed towards the end. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Piers Morgan versus Bill Maher situation.